Well, thank you very much. We'll now, thank you to each of you for your testimony. We're going to do a round of questions right now, and I'll start with myself, and then we'll go around. Ms. Glaser, I was interested in your comment that the trajectory of the Taiwanese view of the U.S. Commitment is on a downward turn, which is interesting since more and more we're engaging there. How do you explain that, or first of all, how is it measured, and then secondly, how do you explain that?
Thank you for that question, Senator Risch. It's an important one. As I cited in my testimony, this is measured by public opinion polls. There are many public opinion centers in Taiwan. They're not all reliable. I've tried to cite...
Kind of like America.
Yes, kind of like us. I've tried to cite different ones also from the opposition. But it's quite clear that this is the trend in Taiwan. Decline in confidence in whether the United States will come to Taiwan's defense. And I think there are several reasons. One, of course, is PRC narratives, disinformation, propaganda that is really quite prevalent in Taiwan. Secondly, there are some domestic narratives in Taiwan that also generate this sentiment that the United States is just simply not reliable. And then I think thirdly, if the people in Taiwan see, as Senator Shaheen noted, that the tariffs that were imposed on Taiwan, they're now at 20%. There's still no final agreement between the U.S. and Taiwan. Negotiations are still ongoing, but Japan and Korea have 15%, and so Taiwan feels that it's not being treated as a good partner, and they're worried about not being as competitive compared to companies in Japan and South Korea. And then, of course, there's the inability of their president to transit through New York. Ultimately, Taiwan canceled that transit, but he has not been able to come to the United States since then. So I think there's just a widespread sense of uncertainty in Taiwan, and every time that the United States president meets with Xi Jinping, with China's leader, Taiwan is very nervous, and there were all sorts of news reports how Taiwan might, its interests might be damaged in that meeting. It turns out so far that they were not, but I think that concern persists as there are plans for Xi Jinping to meet with President Trump several times next year.
Good explanation. I appreciate that. Dr. Dickey, I heard in your testimony your concern about the AIT, the American Institute in Taiwan. Could you, we've dramatically increased some of the economic and security cooperation we have with Taiwan. So what are your thoughts about what needs to be done there?
Thank you, Senator. Also an important question. So as we've increased our security activities with Taiwan in particular, my understanding is we've reached max space constraints at AIT in Taiwan. There's simply not enough space to put people that need to be on the island to help execute current U.S. policy objectives in the security and other domains. I think it's well past time to direct state to do a review of the footprint at AIT and to consider whether a second or third facility needs to be added, an annex of sorts on the ground in Taiwan to allow for more people to be on the island.
Thank you. I appreciate